Let's say today you order soup dumplings, guacamole, and mac and cheese on your phone, and within the hour it's delivered to your doorstep. What? They're my favorites. This classic meal looks amazing. But wait, before you dive into all that delicious food, let's take a look at where it came from. Well before 11,000 BCE in the agricultural revolution, when people began cultivating plants and animals for food, cavemen caught wild animals with weapons they made from sticks and rocks and then cooked them over an open fire. And the manual farming techniques they used soon evolved into organized irrigation systems, which eventually evolved into even bigger farms, which began distributing to restaurants, which made all these different foods. And we can't forget transportation. Meanwhile, in Mesopotamia around 350 BCE, the wheel was invented, which as we know would eventually be used for the horse-drawn carriage, and then the car, which would ultimately be used on this very day by the delivery driver. But what about you? You wouldn't even be there to eat these soup dumplings and guacamole and mac and cheese if it wasn't for your ancestors, who may have traversed continents, made life-saving advances in medicine to keep your family alive, or triumphed in huge wars so that you could be here today. Phew, what a journey. History is all around us, and it's the reason we exist and one of the most important elements that we use to continue existing. You can take a bite now. Hi, I'm Erica Brzozowski, and welcome to Fast Guides, a study hall series presented in partnership with Arizona State University and Crash Course. In this episode, we'll be talking about what a degree in history can look like. In general, history is big. World-renowned philosopher George Santayana once famously wrote, "Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it." Everything around us is the way it is thanks to a series of events and choices made by people of the past. Where you live, what you see in the media, how you work, the landscape we see, everything. All of this is part of history, which is the study of the people, decisions, and events of the past through documentation. By studying history, we use the information we have about how our past societies, governments, cultures, religions, and technologies thrived and failed in order to recognize patterns that affect us today. We made the world the way it is, and so we have the power to remake it. For instance, a history major might study periodicals like Harper's Weekly and other magazines from the US Civil War era. We could see how they discussed a country that was both expanding westward and splintering north to south, and see what connections there are to our world today in 2022. Or research the way Franklin Delano Roosevelt's New Deal helped revitalize America's economy in order to come up with ideas on how to handle nationwide financial collapse in the future. Or we might study the social repercussions of how colonialism and tyranny of the map during the scramble for Africa could influence national rezoning today. Historical context helps us better comprehend where we stand today and how we can grow as a society. So, studying history isn't all memorization and dry, dusty books. History majors spend their time reading eyewitness testimonies, examining artifacts, and watching stories that bring the past alive. The focus of most history programs is to assess evidence, sort out interpretations, and draw informed conclusions about the ever-changing world in which we live. And we use these skills to become better informed members of society and help humanity keep growing. At the start of your history degree, you'll usually spend your time in classes that broadly cover some of the major societies and historical events of the last 20,000 years or so, like history of ancient Rome, the modern world, or medieval studies. You can expect to fully use the skills of reading, researching, and writing, which means you may be spending a lot of time in both physical and virtual libraries as a history major. Then, once you get your basic history classes out of the way, you get to move on to an almost endless list of electives, from broader ideas like gender, race and ethnicity, and human rights, to the more specific ideas like 20th century Chicano history, the American experience in Vietnam, or evolution of the Chinese thought and way. And throughout all of these courses, in addition to reading all sorts of different articles, books, and primary sources, a history program might also include engaging in debates, conducting persuasive speeches, and interacting with your peers to share your perspective on historical and current events. Like many majors, you might also expect a final project at the end of your program that encapsulates what you've studied over the course of your major. This is most frequently a final research paper, but the format of your final project will vary depending on the program. No matter where you go, history is one of the more reading-intensive majors. So successful history majors are often well-organized, fast and efficient readers who have good study habits and a passion for learning detail. And if the idea of learning in depth about different events in history sounds like it might be interesting, then history might be the perfect major for you. History majors also often tend to be people who are interested in the wars, stories, and cultures of our predecessors, and who want to use knowledge of the past to make an impact on the future. On its own, history can be quite a demanding major in terms of workload. But you might consider an additional field of study like English, where courses or topics might overlap. As you advance in your studies, you might be able to choose works that correspond with major historical events or thinkers. So studying English in addition to your history degree can help you paint a fuller picture of the time period. And studying writing is a great start if you think you might want to be a historical writer or editor. You might also consider pairing a history degree with a degree in education if you think teaching might be in your future. Or maybe a business degree if you're considering helping financial companies track historical trends in the marketplace. Or even marketing if you're interested in how different products have appealed to different audiences over time. And if you start your history major and decide it might not be for you, you might consider other humanities like anthropology, English, or journalism. Skills from history like researching, interpreting information, and drawing unique conclusions are transferable to these other majors. Though, developing these skills can also be what makes the history major demanding at times. Students have reported difficulty with the research portion of their studies, especially citing their works. It can often be tough to find proper sources, learn to use search engines effectively, and uncover information about lesser studied periods of history. Another challenge that history majors face is prioritizing context over historical knowledge. Some corners of the history field can make it seem like how many facts and dates you can rattle off directly translates to how good a historian you are. And it can seem like the best course of action is to bury your face in a book and memorize as much as you can. But this isn't what makes a successful history major. Successful history majors focus more on contextualizing historical events and relating them to current problems. After all, knowledge without context is just trivia. But students can overcome all of these challenges. Everyone has their own unique learning needs, but well-organized study habits are essential for this field, and they'll help keep you from falling behind. And students who have a passion for history but are slow readers might consider things like training in speed reading or improving reading comprehension in their free time. If you love history, then ask for help or seek out resources to find ways to make it the major for you. Really, these strategies can apply to any major. No matter what you study, you can find success by aligning your interests with the courses and projects that will help you grow the most, and working with knowledgeable faculty in their programs to get even more insight into what the content and major demands. Now, most students who major in history don't go on to be historians, but they do have many opportunities in their careers to apply the invaluable skills they acquired while studying history, like research, writing, crafting arguments, and most importantly, the ability to distill and build on ideas from information they're presented with. History graduates will often go on to have fulfilling careers as lawyers, business people, writers, researchers, politicians, teachers, or archivists, but the sky's the limit. You can find history majors working in libraries and museums, politics and finance, storytelling and journalism, pretty much anywhere research and careful decisions are being made. And talking about salaries is hard because so much can change year to year or depending on what location you're in. But as of 2022, salaries for history majors can range from around $30,000 per year after graduating with a bachelor's degree to around $60,000 per year depending on the job. Like museum curators make an average of $47,000 per year. Archivists make an average of $61,000 annually, librarians make a median of around $60,000 per year, and high school history teachers make an average of between $36,000 and $46,000 per year. Though, some jobs will require special training or more education. If you want to be a college history professor, you'll have to go to graduate school and possibly go on to pursue a doctorate degree as well. Or you might need special document and archive training for some museum jobs. The point here is that history is all around us. It's what makes us who we are both as a society and as individuals. It's what connects us as people, and it's what keeps us moving forward with caution, hope, and resilience. In the words of Harlem Renaissance writer Dorothy West, there is no life that does not contribute to history. If you choose to pursue history as a career, you can help connect historical patterns with current events to help society grow for the better. Thanks for watching. And whether or not a degree in history piques your interest, check out our other videos to look into more majors to find the one that's right for you. This series is part of the Study Hall program, a partnership between Arizona State University and Crash Course. If you liked this video or found it helpful, give it a like and comment, and let us know how you chose your degree or how you're struggling to choose a degree or what you wish you'd known before you started your degree.